Record. All right, so for today's office hour, mainly I want to talk about all the different submission processes. So for this project, a few main things you'll be submitting. You have your GitHub repository. You also have your blog posts, slides, README, and you'll sort of see how this all comes together. But basically, you're going to be submitting a combination of URLs and PDFs. So I'm going to start with, I guess, the simplest one first, submitting your blog. So I know at the very, very start of the program, I mentioned that there are 7 blogs as a requirement, but literally the week after you guys started, it changed to 4 blogs. So now you only need to submit a blog post with each of your phase projects. Whether your blog is about the project or not doesn't matter. And the way you submit that is in your phase 1, yours looks like this. At the very bottom, you have milestones. And for your blog post, you would just click on the blog post one. It'll open up here. If you want, you can read about blogging overview, but all you have to do is click submit assignment, link your blog, and then submit that. With your blogs, I think I've seen quite a few of you send me your blogs, and I think most people have been writing them on Medium. And so, for example, if I have like a Medium blog, and this is one of mine, let's see, let's take my first one. All I have to do is copy and paste this URL into blog post here, and then all you have to do is submit it. And that's actually pretty neat that there's confetti and pandas on unicycles is what I think I just saw. So that's the blog post. Any question about blogs before I move on to like the bulk of the project? All right, not sure what the requirements say, but blogs, the only thing I will really nitpick at is if you're writing something technical, I'll really look into details just to make sure that you're not writing anything that's like factually incorrect. So those are really the only things I will be really, what's another word for nitpicking, but like really looking at. If it's something more qualitative or if it's something about your project processes, it's a much more subjective thing. And so whatever you write, I'll just enjoy reading it. So that is blogs. So let's close that out for now. For the rest of the project, there's a doc that includes a bunch of GIFs that walk through the submission process. While I was reading it, I got confused as well. So I just want to walk through those processes with you as well. So as I mentioned, it is a combination of submitting URLs and PDFs. And I'll talk about why PDFs in a little bit. But first, the URL. Under your phase 1, you'll see that there is the phase 1 project and also this nested, I don't know, assignment that's just asking for the URL. So for the URL, you just have to click into this one, and when you submit, you'll just submit your project URL. And as an example, I'm gonna pull up one of my own projects. Let's see which one we're gonna use. For example, this project. This is what my project looks like. All I have to do now is copy the URL and paste that here, submit assignment. I hope there's confetti as well. Oh, nice, and there are pink horseshoes. And so that's submitting your URL. So for this whole submission process, you just need these 2 URLs, your GitHub and your blog. Questions about this so far? This is the easy part. Cool, all right. So aside from the 2 URLs, you'll also be submitting several PDFs. And the reason we ask for PDF submission, because yes, I can like, you know, git clone your project and run through your code that way. But with PDF submissions, it has been tested that it's easier and more effective on both sides. With PDFs, I can actually annotate on your PDFs as we're going through the review. So for future changes, you have this PDF that you can refer to, so you know exactly what code you need to change if you need to change anything. So that is the motivation behind the PDF submission. Just in case you find it like super annoying, that is why we do it. So several things you got to turn into PDFs. First, your slides. So your slides, most likely you'll be doing it on like PowerPoint, Google Slides, what Apple Keynote is the Apple version of PowerPoint. However you make your slides, export them as a PDF and actually upload that into your GitHub repo. Mine doesn't have that. So let me think if I have a different example. I don't think so, but all you have to do is just drag and drop the PDF into the repo folder on your local computer and it'll automatically push up. So questions about that? Something that I don't remember if I mentioned it when we talked about presentations is because it's being exported as a PDF, remember that people actually won't see your speaker notes. And it's a good idea to try and have your presentation be able to stand on its own. So keep that in mind as you're creating your presentations. You don't want to have too little information on your slides. I know that, like, you know, when you're presenting, you end up verbally just saying a lot of the points that you want to make that aren't on the slides, but just keep that in mind that you do kind of want your slides to be able to stand on their own. So don't have too little information on that, because someone might click onto your presentation hoping to get like a quick overview of your project through your GitHub, and you want them to be able to get the information they need to get. So that's the slides. You don't have to submit your slides separately. It just needs to be on your GitHub repo. So on the topic of slides, you might see here, or you will see here, that they actually have a section for presentation recording submission. Now this depends on what you want to do for your recording. So by default, and other instructors do this differently, but by default, I like to have, you know, a presentation hour where everyone gets to present their projects to each other. And I will record these sessions so that you don't have to make your own recording. So after the presentation hour, I think I blocked out an hour and a half on Monday to do that. That will all be recorded, and I will make sure it's a private video on YouTube and then send it out to all of you so you have your presentation recording. If you do not want your presentation to be recorded on Monday, let me know. But if you don't have your presentation recorded on Monday, I'll basically stop the recording when it's your group's turn. But you will have to then submit your own recording here. Is that clear? All right, so, but basically most people, almost everybody would rather have me record it because it's just easier that way. And it's kind of awkward to like talk to yourself. But yeah, any questions about?
If you record it, we don't need to submit anything?
Yep, that's right. If you're okay with me recording your presentation that you're giving to the class on Monday, you don't have to worry about this section.
Okay, thanks.
If for whatever reason you miss Monday's session, I will ask you to make a recording of your presentation as well, but that shouldn't happen. All right, now the trickier parts. There are two PDFs that you need to submit, or two sets of PDFs. First, you need to submit a PDF of your GitHub. So what you will do is you actually navigate to this page and get this as a PDF. So your PDF will include your files as well as your README. And the way to do that, if you're not using Google Chrome, slightly different, but I think quite similar, you should be able to print. And what I did here, I just pressed Command P. I think Control P is the command for Windows, but if you print the page, automatically this will be generated. And really all you have to do, at least for a Mac, sorry, I'm not too sure about the PC computer, but once you have this, there is a button that says open your PDF in preview. And I think for PCs, you'll have something similar, but it's not called preview, it's called something else. But once you open this, and let me actually reshare my screen real quick so you can see what just opened up. Once you've done that, you can see here that I have a PDF version of my GitHub repo, which has all the files, not all the files, but it has basically my README, and that's what I'll be looking at. Sound good? And so with this PDF, just save this, and let's see, save this as, I'll call this project README. That initialize, save it somewhere such that you can upload it later on. And when you upload it, you're just going to upload it in, actually, I'll talk about the uploading later. So you'll have that. The other thing that you'll need to do PDFs of, and this will be a little bit tricky, you'll have to do PDFs of your notebooks. Yeah, if you have many notebooks, I apologize, this is going to be a little bit annoying, but if you have separate notebooks, depending on how good you are with like PDFs, it doesn't matter to me whether you submit it all as one PDF or as multiple PDFs, but I'll walk through the different processes. So here in this example project I have 3 notebooks. I have like, the content doesn't matter, but I have 3 notebooks. So for each notebook, what you'll want to do is you actually want to make sure that you run all the cells and all the cells are visible. This is just so you know you can see the output of the cells, so that when I'm grading your work, I can see what your code produces. Mine is not gonna all render now because I use some libraries, but what you then do is you do the same thing. You're gonna do the print as well. And now you see here, it'll have all of the information that was on my notebook as a PDF. You're gonna have to do this for each of your notebooks. So if you have multiple notebooks, you're just gonna have to do this for all your notebooks. So same thing, I'm just going to open PDF in preview, and it opened over here. And then I'm just gonna save this. I'm gonna save this as maybe like notebook 1. And I'll just do this for one more notebook. Let's see, this is the first one, and I'll do this for the second one. And this is just another notebook. As a preview, this is mod 3. This is phase 3 project. What I'm gonna do, just make sure that all the code is visible. We'll assume that that's visible, and then just do a print. Looks good. If you have the collapsible things, remember to open them up. Not gonna do that now, but yeah, same process. It opens up as another PDF, and then you can save it. If you'd like, you can actually combine the PDFs. I'm not too sure how to work it on Windows, so I apologize for that, but I'm sure it's something that you can figure out. On a Mac, at least, you can actually just drag and drop and combine the PDF. So in the thumbnail view, you can literally drag and drop all the pages from this PDF to this one, such that I have like both notebooks PDFs in one file, and that just makes it a little easier. I realize I dragged it to the wrong file, but it doesn't matter. So once you've done that and you've saved everything, the submission process for this is you actually go to this page. This one, the one with the project guidelines. With that, there is a submit button here, right at, let me refresh it to make sure that it looks the same as yours. Here we go. So once you come to this page, there's a submit assignment button, which will bring you to the bottom, and here you can upload as many files as you want, which is why it doesn't matter if you combine your notebooks or not. So here, in my case, I'm going to get the, let's see, I had my notebook, and then I also had my README. And once I've uploaded those, submit and done. When you submit a project, I do get a notification about the submission. So if you just want to double check that things are submitted, just let me know. So yeah, that is the submission process. The main annoying thing to get over is the creating of the PDFs, but it does make it easier to like just keep track of the changes that you might want to make in the future. Also makes it a little easier for grading on my end. Any questions about submission processes?
So our individual notebooks should also be in the GitHub, right? And we're just making a duplicate PDF of those, right?
A duplicate PDF of those, yes.
We're making a PDF of those notebooks in our GitHub, okay.
Yeah, that's right. If you're doing it in a pair, honestly, it doesn't matter too much because I will be like going through both. It doesn't matter if you, let's say, you each have your own notebooks. If you submit just your own notebooks or everyone's notebooks, it really doesn't matter to me because I will be going through all of it anyways. So yeah, if there's anything that needs to be clarified, or if like something is not submitted correctly, don't worry about it. That's not gonna like stop you from passing the project. So don't worry about that at all. If something's just not correct, then I usually check it like the day before your project review. I will let you know if there's something that's missing. So don't worry about that too much. Let's see, anything else?
So the PDFs don't need to be in the GitHub repository. We can save them anywhere as long as we upload them to you.
That's right. That's right. The PDFs of the notebooks and the README are not uploaded on your GitHub. Those are just submitted directly to me. The only PDF that does appear on your GitHub is your slideshow. Cool. Just as a review, there are 3 places to submit things. There is the projects here, which on this page is where you submit the PDFs. Here, the one that says GitHub repository URL, you submit the URL. And finally, let me bring this up again. Finally, blogs. Blogs, you just submit your blog link. Awesome. Any final questions about submission? Awesome. If you need to clarify anything, just let me know. But also, it's not a big deal if it's not super clear. If I see that something's missing, I will let you know, and it won't affect your passing of the project. Cool. All right. I'm going to stop the recording here, and then we can talk about any other questions.